Hello, ladies and gentlemen, grots and gits. Welcome back to Happy Crumpin' Wargaming. I'm super excited to have everyone here, and I'm going to share with you the sneakiest, the secretest of all the Orky tech. So, if you were here over the weekend, we went through a tier list on all of the new Ork data sheets. We talked about what was freaking awesome, what was the big losers, and where Orks are. And if you watched that, you probably got a bunch of information, and I really appreciate you. If you didn't, I got it linked down below. No worries. Learn all there is to learn about the Orks. But today, we are going to be learning about the secretest Ork tech in existence. These are actually two combos that all the awesome guys and gals inside of the Ork Discord server discovered. So shout out to the Ork Discord server. Special shout out to Ferronian, and sorry, I forgot who discovered the Gretchin tech that we're going to talk about. But anyway, these are really awesome tech pieces that if you're an Ork player, you're going to love using, and if you don't play Orks, you're going to hate having used against you. Some of this is a little bit ludicrous, so I don't necessarily feel bad that I missed it in the first place, but I'm just not quite enough of a mad lad, but I'm working on it. So let's dive right into it. What is this first piece of this secret Ork tech that we're looking at? The mech shop. The lonely, lowly mech shop. This thing is absolutely busted. Like, wow, busted, guys. So basically what happens here is this mech shop is 80 points, which is like nothing. 80 points. Very cheap for an Ork codex that is overall overcosted. But this is not overcosted. And with the new rules for the game, there's really no restrictions on fortifications. There's no 4-inch rules for terrain pieces. There's no if you can't fit it, you can't use it. They just didn't include placement rules for fortifications in this edition. So as of right now, the mech shop is absolutely busted. If you guys play WTC, which is the majority of what I play, historically the WTC does outlaw faction terrain. So don't expect this to work there. But basically anywhere else, you guys are good to go with this one. So this thing gives cover to literally everything that is partially obscured from it. And that is very easy to do, because all you literally have to do is you have to cover a foot in like a tiny little foot of a model to be partially obscured. So a Gorkanaut can hide behind this thing and be partially obscured. Well, no, because that's towering. But still, like you can get towering. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, because the Gorkanaut would actually get cover from this. It's really hilarious. It's very funny how you can just get cover on literally everything by being close to this monstrosity. Then it's going to heal all Ork vehicles, including itself, D3 wounds if they're within 12 inches, which is a massive bubble, at the end of the movement phase. As you'll find, it's not hard to keep everything within 12 inches of this monstrosity because of this last part of the rule set for this model here. All pieces must be within 1 inch of each other. And if you look at this picture, there's a lot of pieces to this thing. You're looking at least 10, realistically, if you include like the little workbenches and the little toolboxes. You're probably looking at 12 to 13 pieces to this thing. This thing can be stretched out a huge distance, easily covering your entire deployment zone. Which, what does that mean? Well, what it means is that you never, ever have to worry about screening your deployment zone or really anywhere on the map, because your entire deployment zone and a 9-inch bubble around your deployment zone are going to be permanently screened from all deep strikers or strategic reservers. It's going to force your opponent to actually have to focus fire this thing instead of your army. And if they don't focus fire this thing instead of your army, they're just completely screwed, because you're just going to be healing and everything's going to have cover. And if Orks are good at one thing right now, it's being tough. So cover is actually really nice to them. So I'm going to switch to a TTS view just so I can see just how far you can actually stretch this thing. Bear with me here for just a moment. All right, so we're on TTS now. You have to bear with me. So I don't actually have a TTS model for the Mechboy Workshop. So I took some randomized terrain here and I stretched it out for you. So if you look at this, so I've got one piece here, and a 9-inch bubble from this is going to be it's going to cover all of this. So you'll never be able to strategic reserve anywhere over here or deep strike anywhere over here. You get a little oil can, a little piece of the defense line. So we're just stretching this bad boy out. All of this is completely deep strike protected. And this is not even optimally placed. And then we have a few more pieces. And we have this bad boy, because some pieces of it are bigger than others. It's literally going to be impossible to ever deep strike or strategic reserve anywhere inside your deployment zone, just because of how ludicrously worded this workshop is. Just use your imagination that these are actually the Ork workshops. Once again, guys, sorry, I don't have a model on TTS to represent it. But you can stretch your deployment zone to permanently cover the entire thing. And if you want to get it to the edge, you could also protect from a deep strike all the way out here. But honestly, your army's going to be doing that already. So realistically, if you take this piece, your opponent can only ever bring in reserves on their half of the battlefield, which is freaking hilarious for 80 points. This might be the most secret tech ever. So once again, thank you, Ferronian, for bringing this out. It is absolutely stupid, and I don't know how you figured it out, but props to you, sir. Kudos, kudos, kudos. Yeah, and props to TTS for letting us actually demonstrate these things, because sometimes it's hard to like just tell you guys how cool this stuff is, so we have to be able to show you. So this is how easy it is just to stretch your mech workshop out. And remember, you can just walk right over it, so you're not move blocking yourself, because models can always move over 2-inch terrain. So you're not move blocking yourself at all here just by stretching it out. That is also a really big piece. And for movement shenanigans, which actually is launching today, is our movement tutorial course. Remember, you can move through your own models. So it doesn't really matter how you place your units, because you can move over this terrain, you can move through your own models. So you don't have to worry about move blocking yourself. I mean, if you really try, I'm sure you can, but it's not hard to not move block yourself. So I'm gonna go back to the PowerPoint here now, and get to the next piece of secret Ork tech. All right, so that was the mech shop, guys. We know it, we love it. I'm sure a lot of you hate it, but it is what it is. It's only 80 points. Now, Gretchin. Oh my gosh, Gretchin are absolutely nightmarishly tough to kill now, and this is really dumb. But the thing is that this is 100% intentional from GW. It's not an exploit. It's not an exploit. Like, it just is what it is. They literally wrote it to be like this. I don't understand it. But here's the wording. Your Gretchin must include a runt herd now. But runt herds are no longer characters. They're not leaders. They're just an extra part of the Gretchin unit. Now, the runt herd has a special rule. Or the Gretchin has a special rule, I should say. Runt herd. While this unit contains one or more Gretchin models, each time a ranged attack targets this unit, runt herd models in this unit have a toughness characteristic of 2. Why did they do that? Well, they did this because you always use the highest toughness, and they didn't want Gretchin to have like a toughness of 5 against shooting attacks, because that would be stupid, because runt herd has a toughness of 5 and Gretchin have a toughness of 2. So they just did it to make it nice and easy. And remember, when you have a leader attached to the unit, you never use the leader's toughness. You always use the unit's toughness. So there's an exceptions. So you don't have to worry. So if you put a leader who had like a toughness of 5, the Gretchin would still have a toughness of 2. So, but they had to word it a little bit differently, since they wanted to include the runt herd. So the runt herd has a special ability making him a lot worse when he's in the unit he has to be in, which sounds terrible. Until you realize that they specifically said that this only applies to ranged attacks. Only applies to ranged attacks, which means in melee, Gretchin are toughness 5. Gretchin are tougher than Space Marines in melee. Now, if you watched my video yesterday where I was going, or this weekend when Felix came on and we were going through all of the really cool stratagems that orks have. Now, well, they have a 1CP stratagem called Ard as Nails, which makes any ork unit that's not a vehicle -1 to wound. So suddenly you have a massive mob of 22 Gretchin that are toughness 5 -1 to wound in melee. And if you're in the WoW, they got a 5-up invuln. Do you see where the possibilities of this are going? Like, most models are going to be wounding them on 6s in melee. You're not going to chew through that unit of Gretchin, and they don't run to leadership anymore. It's actually so stupid. GW specifically made it so the interaction is fixed in shooting, but they didn't include melee in that. They could have just said, whenever the runt herd is included in this Gretchin unit, the runt herd's toughness is 2. No problems. But they didn't. They said only in shooting. So they want this to happen. They want Gretchin to have a toughness of 5. I have no idea why, but it's super stupid, but it's 100% true. Whoever discovered this in the Ork channel, I'm sorry, I forgot to give who I need to give credit to, but thank you for bringing this up. Now, it gets worse. It gets a little bit worse. We're almost done, guys. Just stick with me here. The Gretchin King combo. Let's talk about Zadrog Wartsnaga, who was potentially the worst model in the game in 9th edition. However, in 10th edition, he might be the best character in the game. Let's check for his value, at least. So, you will attach him to a 22-man unit of Gretchin. That'll be 20 Gretchin, 2 Runt Herds, and Zadrog himself. Now, his special ability is he actually does have the best buff in the entire game, but unfortunately only applies to Gretchin. He gives them +1 to hit and +1 to wound to his entire unit. And his entire unit is -1 to be wounded. So you don't even have to use the Artist Nail strat on them. And you don't have to worry about being battle shocked, because it's not a strat. That's just the ability he gives them, so you don't have to use the strat on the unit. He gives them a 9-inch scout move. And when you're in the WA, he gives them +6 inches to movement. So in the WA turn, your Gretchin are moving 12 inches normally with a 9-inch scout move. Count it. Yes, that is 21 inches. And then you're going to roll an advance on them, which is going to be on average 3. Call it 3. So you're on average a 24-inch move. That if you want to use the CP for Here We Go, they can be +2 to advance, which makes them an average movement of 26. And then they can charge at +2. These Gretchin are potentially going, what's the potential on that? 28. Are potentially going 40 inches in one turn. 40 inches. When you do this, this unit of Gretchin are going to tag an entire army. And it's going to be really hard to kill them because you're going to be winning them on 6s and they'll have a 5-up invuln. And it doesn't matter when you kill them because they can't run due to leadership anymore. So this one unit of Gretchin with a character is going to be running up, punching you in the face, doing basically no damage. But your entire army is now going to be locked in combat. You won't be able to shoot that turn, and you won't be able to get out of your deployment zone if the orks go first. Guys, this by itself is strong enough for me to actually think that orks might be better than I initially considered them to be. Because when we were going through everything, realistically, I think orks are a middling faction. Maybe slightly under average. But this tech is so unreasonably powerful for not many points. I think Zadrog is 80 points, and the big unit of Gretchin is going to be 90 points. So you're basically looking at spending, 170 points in order to make it so the opponent can't play for a turn, maybe 2 turns. It's amazing. It's shockingly amazing. Okay, so let me show you just what this looks like on TTS. So we'll go to the TTS view, and I'll just show you how darn fast this actually is. All right, so we're here on TTS. I don't have the models for Zadrog, so don't worry about it. Now, obviously, you're not going to deploy your guys right here in the middle where they can just get shot. That's probably a dumb choice. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to do it, just so I can show you what to do. Let's say the orks win the roll-off, and they're like, screw it, you know what? I can't win because I'm underpowered. We don't have the killing power. But what I can do is I can screw you horribly. So they call a WA turn 1. So your Gretchin are going to do a 9-inch scout move. Here, let me do it correctly. A 9 inches scout move. Beep, 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 beep. Something like that. That's very easy to do. And then the turn starts. So now they normally have a 6-inch move, but since Zadrog's leading them and you wad, they actually have a 12-inch move. So let's go ahead and do a 12-inch move. Boop, 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 boop. Dope. Now, let's just say, screw it. We want to lock everything. So we're going to roll in advance, and we're going to spend our CP on Here We Go. So it's going to be +2 to the advance. So we can roll the dice, but yeah, okay. So I rolled a 5, and it's going to be plus 2 for Here We Go. So let's say they go an extra 7 inches of movement. So we'll do like this. I don't know. We'll do something like that. And we'll just pump some guys out just to keep everything in coherency. We'll take these guys maybe 7 inches this way. And remember, you can move through your own models now, which makes all this movement way easier. Put a runt herd right there. Then it's time to charge. And orks get to advance and charge in the turn that they call the WA. So let's charge. And remember, you can attack units that you don't declare as a target of a charge. So you just declare the easiest target, and you go boop. And we rolled a 7, and I'm at +2, so I get an extra 9 inches of movement. So now these Gretchin get to do something like this. Beep, 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 beep. And say that you're not on the right on the line, so we're gonna put right here. Now, we're going to do one other thing. So this is where the Gretchin are in turn 1, very easily. That's without spiking the dice. That is very easy to get your Gretchin right here. Now, we're going to make this a little bit grosser. We're going to spend 1 CP on precision. Or, sorry, what is it? Heroic Challenge. What Heroic Challenge does is it's a generic stratagem that allows you to give a character precision when they're in melee. So Zodrog Wartsnaga. Let's get out of here. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint so I can show you his stat line. Because this is just absolutely silly. So Zodrog Wartsnaga himself. He is the Grab Zappa melee. It's 5 attacks, 2 up weapon skill, 7 strength, 2 AP, 2 damage. Well, when you're in the WA, it's going to be 6 attacks. And remember, you're exploding on 6s. So you're going to spend the 1 CP on precision. So suddenly, Mr. Zodrog is going to be hitting with 6 strength 8, because you're +1 strength in the WA, exploding on 6s, strength +1 to wound, because he gives the unit +1 to wound, which means he gives himself +1 to wound. And then you're going to spend the 1 CP to make him precision. So if you run into any of those troublesome, unkillable warrior blocks for Necrons, you just slaughter the Overlord and you force him to spend his 1 CP to resurrect his Overlord, and then he can never do it again, and you'll kill him again next turn. Because you're going to be locked in combat and he won't be able to fall back and shoot you. This piece of tech will lock an opponent's force completely, 100% in their own deployment zone for an entire turn, potentially 2 turns, from 1 unit of Gretchin. It's amazing. If you guys love this content, please let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Put some stuff down if you liked it. Please give me the comments. If you like it, like and subscribe. I love you all. I'm going to be back with lots more awesome tech pieces, not only for orcs. My two main armies are orcs and custodes. I'm going to be talking a bunch about those two. And I got a lot of really huge experts who are going to be coming on the channel, and we're going to be breaking down the other factions as well. Thank you all for your attention. Have an amazing day. We appreciate you. You happy Crumpin' Wargamers. Until next time, I am out. Make sure to tune in later today for the movement tutorial. Movement's way different in 10th edition, so we need to learn how to do it appropriately. Love you all. I'm out.